What's up, guys? I'm Kyle, also known as the Pandaman. Today's video, I'm gonna tell you how to develop a back like Mike Tyson's.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
We look at the back, right? Think of it as all disconnected. This is the head right here. So this is Mike Tyson's head. So part of this, you have the foundation of the back at the lumbars, the low back, but also the neck. You're not gonna develop a huge muscular back. You're not gonna see somebody that's developed like that without a muscular neck, right? So the neck tries into the traps. Now everybody thinks the traps are just right here, right? From doing shrugs, and that's all well and good. But your traps, you gotta think where the name comes from. Trapezoid, right? So it actually comes all the way down over in here. Now with that too, you also got that kind of intertwine, you got your rhomboids. So you develop this. This is what's gonna give you a three-dimensional look for the back. Most people are thinking just like bodybuilding, the lats, right? We wanna develop the lats, but you can see with Mike Tyson, when you look at the pictures of him from the fight, even at 58 years old, he's got the lat development, but then if you develop the lats and you tie all this in, right? You develop the face poles, we're gonna show you all this stuff. You'll start to get that Christmas tree effect that you can see on people that are lean. The Christmas tree is right in here, right? And now this is where the lumbars tie in. So you have all this stuff for the back. It's a lot more than just doing pull downs. So I'm gonna show you guys how to develop the neck, a couple things that you can do as you're in your 40s that can develop this, some stuff that can develop the rhomboids, and we'll take clues from Mike Tyson's career. So let's get into it. We are gonna start from the top down. So Mike Tyson was famous for doing his neck bridges, sometimes for 20 minutes at a time. Now, if you're like me in your 40s, you're not gonna be doing neck bridges. I don't advise that. I don't think it's realistic that you're gonna do that. So let's take what Mike Tyson did and figure out other ways to do it that are more joint friendly for us guys that are in their 40s that wanna have a jacked back. Remember, if you have a jacked back, traps, rhomboids, you're gonna look muscular in your shirt no matter what. Most people are never gonna see you with the shirt off. Let's look jacked in the shirt. First thing I'm gonna show you is a four-way neck. Now you don't need a four-way neck machine to do this. Just use a stability ball, and you can even use a medicine ball for this. So with this, guys, you find some type of wall, right? Take some type of wall, you got your stability ball. I'm gonna go, and I'll show you just for demonstration purposes, a couple seconds on each side, but you can set the clock, or you can do this for breath, like 5 breaths or 10 breaths. It's isometric, so I'm pushing into the ball straight ahead. Here, you can see how I'm shaking, and the activation it's giving my neck. Get the allotted time. Now, again, I wanna hit all 4 sides. I'm here, you can see the way the neck's working. Great for football players too, by the way. So I'm here, and we're going back into it. Driving straight back, and then you hit the other side. And you can see if you're doing it right, you can get that isometric. And it actually feels really good, but it's a way that you don't have to compress your spine at all. You're getting a lot of neck development. Remember, the foundation for the back is top and bottom. That's how you're gonna develop the middle of the back. So that's one great neck exercise that you can start incorporating pretty much every workout you do. Just do a couple sets of it. Next, I'm gonna show you how to do the neck harness. Great piece of equipment you can get is a neck harness. Now your gym probably is not gonna have one of these. You can get these for like 40, 50 bucks. Definitely a great tool. And you've probably seen Mike Tyson doing these before. A lot of boxers do these. You adjust the size so it fits, usually a Velcro. What I like to do, kind of put a towel over my head, and we're gonna go with the neck harness on top. So make sure it's nice and snug. Now typically with these, I take a dumbbell, you drop it in. So that's how we do that. I like to do them standing. I find it to be more functional. So I'm here and up. So you're getting full range. You can hit high rep. Your neck is designed so you can grow it with isometrics, high rep or low rep, the way the muscle, the type of muscle fibers that it has, slow twitch and fast twitch. But that's another great one you can do. Start light and you build up, and you're just hitting reps. Hit anywhere from 15 to 25 reps. You should be good. Superset that if you want with the 4-way neck. And that's the foundation of the neck one. Next, we're gonna start moving down to the traps. Next, I'm gonna show you 2 kind of traditional ways to work your traps. Yeah, most people are thinking the traps are just up here, which is great, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, literally. Traps come all the way down, they're attached to the spine. So with regular shrugs, I'm gonna show you a 1-arm dumbbell. Aging athletes in our 40s, let's keep the other hand behind our back, working some shoulder mobility on this other one. You're gonna find that you can get more range of motion doing this. So you take your dumbbell, other hand is here, up, full range, all the way down, nice stretch. Good, hold for a second, back down. Obviously, you would get both sides on that, right? A little different than hitting both at the same time like we would normally see. So on that, anywhere between 8 and 15 reps should be pretty solid. Now I'm gonna show you another somewhat traditional shrug, but we're gonna do it behind the back with the barbell. Again, it's gonna hit your traps a little bit differently. So let's check it out. Behind the back shrugs, different angle of pull. When you guys are doing these, make sure your grip is equidistant. You walk out from the rack. We're up, hold for a second, back down. Up. So you might not be able to go as heavy as you can on a shrug where the barbell's in front of you. Again, we're looking at how do we work different angles in a joint-friendly fashion to get that three-dimensional back that you saw on Mike Tyson at 58 years old. So next, we're gonna kind of go into some different angles to start working the traps and the rhomboids, and success leaves clues. Think about it, Mike Tyson, best boxer of all time, at least one of the top two. But what was he doing all the time, right? He's throwing, I'm not a boxer, but you gotta pull back, right? So that leaves clues. It's not just in the weight room where he developed this, right? He was big into calisthenics. So let's look at that angle of pull, how we can incorporate that into your workout. So we're gonna hop over to a one-arm face pull with the band. So on these, you can use any type of band. We're here, right? You can use a cable machine, whatever side you're gonna be pulling with. So think again, you're coming forward for a strike. We're more concerned about this. Be athletic, you're coming up. I want your elbow to be high. Keep your hands right near the face. Now you could even play around with a little rotation as you come in. Almost like you're pulling back the string on a bow if you were an archer. So we're here, again, working at different angles. So now I'm starting to move into the rhomboids, hitting the traps at a different angle than just straight up and down like everybody trains them. So we're here. And you can do these for high rep, you can do those for speed. If you're using a band and you want to keep the set going as you fatigue, let's say I'm here on my third set and I got 6 reps and I'm starting to fatigue, move in, keep the set going, keep it alive, right? Give it a good contraction right there. Working that plane of motion. Now we're gonna move into an overhead walk. Most people would think, well, how does that work the traps? When you do it, right, the traps have to stabilize the shoulder. So an overhead walk, I'll even throw in an overhead shrug that you can do with the dumbbell, and you can do these one arm. This is another great thing, unconventional, that you can do to start developing that thick back. Overhead walk, when you guys are doing this, you're trying to get that arm all the way extended, right? If you're here, no good. So let's do that, and then I'll show you how you can take it into an overhead shrug. So I'd get the weight up above the head, right? So I'm locked out here, full extension. I would do the prescribed number of yards, let's say 20 or 30 yards. And if you wanted to, at the end, that's where you can be here. Check out that overhead shrug. Working everything. I can feel it right all the way into my mid-spine in an unconventional way. That's what it's gonna take when you look at athletes like Mike Tyson that have a certain development of a certain body part. They didn't do it through bodybuilding means. They did it through how they train for their sport. So that is why we're doing stuff unconventionally here. That's, again, joint friendly for the lifter in their 40s and wants to have a stacked back. Next, let's move on to some more traditional type of rows. And the key thing here, I've always found when you're training back, you get much more out of it if you incorporate grip into the pulling movement. So we can use fat grips. I'm gonna show you a dumbbell row with the towel, but it elevates, it takes it to another level. Your gripping mechanism, your grip is highly tied into your nervous system and activation of the muscles. And usually that's the weakest link. So let's check out some towel dumbbell rows next. When we're doing these, first of all, make sure your feet are set up correctly. So if I was doing my left side, regular dumbbell row, I would take my left toe to my right heel. That's my depth, right? Meaning I don't want to be here. I see this messed up all the time. We want to set the hips, that way we can really load up the back the way it's meant to be loaded up. Rather than putting everything on the lower back, you're going to be much weaker. So we're here, then you step out wide. Now, I wrap a towel around the handle of the dumbbell. So we'd be here. So I get my depth set up, I'm here. So now I'm working that grip mechanism, come up, I'm going to squeeze. And I hold that for a second or two, then back down. When you're doing this, one thing that you want to think of is pretend that you're taking your elbow and you're wrapping the elbow around the back. You want to feel a contraction, right? So now we're starting to move more to the outer edge into the lats, right? But we also want to have that so it's hitting that whole three-dimensional, right? The lats almost look like a lung. You want to hit everything within that. So these are a great thing to do. You build up as your grip strength builds up. Hit these, remember, contract, wrap the elbow around the back. You can hit both sides. And I'm gonna show you another way to do a dumbbell row. You can do this with a towel or not. We call these horse stance rows. So on these, this is something I learned from Mountain Dog, John Meadows. If I had my heels together, they would be 90 degrees. So I step out. Now, the toe that's angled out, I'd be rowing that side. You would go lighter on these than you normally do on a dumbbell row. I'm taking that dumbbell, I'm twisting, I'm supinating, and I'm putting it in the pocket. Again, thinking about putting my elbow around my back. So I'd be here, squeeze, don't come down until you feel that contraction. You almost want to try to get your lat to cramp up. Here, these are fantastic for getting a nice contraction in the lat. So those are more traditional. Incorporate grip when you can. You can do either of them with the towel. Definitely try the towel on your traditional dumbbell row. And lastly, we got one more thing I'm gonna show you that'll work not only in your power development, your explosiveness, but it'll also be the finishing touch for developing that superior back. One of my favorite exercises, one arm dumbbell snatch. You don't have to have any Olympic lifting experience to do this. I prefer these for all levels of people. They're very quick to learn. When you're doing this, it's a hanging snatch. Legs are slightly bent. Just think of how a linebacker would be in a stance, right? I'm not here. I'm not coming all the way down from the ground. So I'm here, arm is just connecting. Arm is nice and loose. Now when I drive through the legs, pull up, again, I'm not pulling with the arm is loose. I'm transferring the power and the force into that arm. You want to stay tight to the body, right? Like you're zipping up your jacket until it's overhead. Further you get away from the body, the longer that lever arm, the less mechanical advantage you have, the less you're gonna feel it. Now these are great, again, for conditioning, but really hitting those fast twitch muscle fibers. So I'll do a couple reps here to show you how it's done. You start light, but if you start too light when you're learning these, you're not gonna be able to get the form down because you'll be able to muscle it. So I'm here, arm is loose, right up overhead. Notice the power from the ground. I'm actually jumping a little bit, arm is loose. And notice how close it's staying to my body. Right up over the head. And there you have it. That's how you do a snatch. Again, don't start too light on that. Start too light, you're never gonna get the form right. Start with a moderate weight. I like to do those in the 3 to 6 rep range. And if you put all that stuff together and you do that consistently over time, remember the workout is a stressor. You're trying to get a stress response from the body. In this case, how do we develop a 3-dimensional back like you saw Mike Tyson walk out to his fight with, even at 58 years of age? Success leaves clues. So place this stuff. You could even make a whole workout out of that stuff I just showed you if you wanted to hit unconventional back day. You do that, but going back to the point, you have to apply more and more stress to continue to get adaptations. If we're looking for a thicker back, if you use the same weight and same reps every time, your body will no longer develop once it's reached what it needs to do to be able to withstand that stress. It's always a stress response. You want to keep learning how to fast, beast and feast, my Panda method. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button so you never miss anything. Hit the like button, and also leave a comment or a question so I know exactly what type of content to create for you.